Jeez, Louise, nuts. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 8, favorite flicks of the Sista-Cousins channel. If you guys can hear what happens before we record and after, y'all will just absolutely pass out. In today's episode, we will be talking about our favorite flicks, whether they're movies or TV shows. There is so much that's on television today. I just really couldn't even almost narrow it down. I mean, there's just so much that is interesting. It's a lot, girl. I mean, you got the classics, you got the new stuff, you got the corny stuff, you got the why did you even think of this concept stuff? So for me, I think I have narrowed it down to 2 classic movies. Number 1, The Color Purple. Sophia?
I told you.
I am offended. Okay,
that is mine too.
Okay, y'all know it's mine.
Listen, we can quote. I mean, we can just go on.
Nothing can keep me from.
You do right by me, okay?
Everything you think about is gonna crumble.
It's gonna crumble. Then my second
Joe is ugly.
I brushes out her hair. She brushes out my hair when I was ailing. Oh, okay.
Die. How did he die?
On top me.
I used to.
Y'all know that's my favorite movie of all
my
time. There is no movie ever created since The Color Purple that will ever top The Color Purple. Come on.
Shout out to Miss Oprah Winfrey, bomb.com. Okay.
Shout out to Alice Walker for being an amazing author and writer, and Steven Spielberg for having nuts to put it on TV on national TV, and Whoopi Goldberg for being Steven.
What
She
about
played
Miss?
that role. She played that role.
Listen, you're ugly, you're black.
Where's Celie? Home, fist in the shade, mister.
Like I said, fine with me.
Time to go.
We all thought about this though. We all like this movie, but think about it. This movie is about a poor black female who has been
being beat
her
for
whole
breakfast,
life.
lunch, and dinner.
I was thinking about that today. Why do I like this movie? And I think the thing for me is that because in the end, everything turns around for her. It's like everything that she went through was absolutely horrible, but in the end, it's like she's given that back sevenfold. So it's like, but when I think about this, it's not a happy movie.
No. But for me, I think like I love the movie so much because it should have, what she went through should have broke her. It should have broke her down to nothing. And that's what they tried to do. And yet she never broke. She never quit. She never just acquiesced to I'm nothing. She still loved her sister, whether she was there in her heart or there present. She still had a love for her, and she didn't let him destroy her. And finally, one day, she just said, I ain't got to do this no more. Your daddy ain't nothing but some dead horse shit. I'm just saying.
So for me, I thought about it from a spiritual standpoint, because as Christians, you may go through persecution, or when you try to live right, your friends who knew you back when, I remember when you was this, but she stayed in what she believed. She stayed strong, even if her sister was dead. She treated her as if she was alive. She kept writing letters. When she started learning how to read, she was writing letters. I think it was every day or every week, and her sister was writing to her, but she didn't know what happened to her, so she was sending them. And this man, I wonder, he could have just thrown those letters away. Why did he keep those letters?
Because, okay, so I know this sounds crazy, and it is, but I do believe.
You can't use that word.
Oh yeah, I can use crazy. I don't have to use crazy. Anyway, I do believe that he loved her the best way he knew how to love. He was a horrible man. Don't get it twisted. He was a horrible man, but he did love her. And some people only have so much of a capacity of love, and they don't love the same way other people do. And I think that was just his capacity of love, and he didn't want her to leave him. So in order to not get her to leave him, he had to control her to the point that he controlled her. Now, the reason he kept the letters, I think he kept the letters because at one point in his life, he planned on giving them to her. I don't know. But I think
read a little bit what you said. That love word, the definition of love under the scripture, love don't hurt. Okay, love is long.
I understand that.
However, I think he appreciated what she did for him. The love is a totally different thing. He needed that help, and he appreciated that help. I don't know about no love now. I can't.
Now at the beginning, that probably was all it was, but he loved her. I do believe Mr. loved her just to the capacity that he was able to love. You have to think about it, okay? You know, think about some of the situations BC, before Christ, that you had in your life, with some people that you may have dealt with, and they just wasn't that horrible. They just wasn't good people. But you can't say that they didn't love you. They just only loved you to the capacity in which they were capable of loving.
I don't think he ever knew what love was based on the relationship he had with his father. He kind of emulated exactly what he saw. So I don't think he had a capacity to love. I think he loved Suge now. He loved and love for her, but I don't think he knew how to love outside of that. I don't know why he kept those letters. I think maybe he kept them just because he was evil. I mean, let's just put it out like that. He did this to torture this girl. She told her sister she would never hear from her again, and that's what he meant. However, I think once she left and he realized, I think everybody has that come to Jesus meeting where you sit down and you really get a taste of who you really are. Something happens in your life where shows you who you are as a person. And once you see that and he realized what an evil person he was, I think that's what made him change and be like, oh my God, I can't even believe that, I have done this, that I was this person. And I think he spent the rest of his life trying to make amends for what he had done. So I don't know.
When he brought the children back and her sister back, once he saw that his life wasn't elevating, and I think he came to the realization it was because she put that curse on him. That was that one, till you do right by me. So he had to do right by her.
You gotta hold your fingers right now. You gotta hold your fingers right. They were like this.
Like this.
Gotta be a little cricket like this.
He like, ooh, this girl to put roots on me, like the roots you was talking about the last time we was talking about this episode. She put them roots on him, and so but I think he really realized, like Joanna said, his father was verbally abusive and emotionally abusive to him. It's like he could never do nothing right. Yeah, he said, ain't too many women lie their husband, hold it, lay up in their house. She put a little Suge Avery in that lemonade. Talk about that Suge Avery. But anywho,
she didn't put no Suge Avery P in there the first time. It was just a little spit.
But I think she put some in there before, because she said.
No, she said next time I'm put a little Suge Avery P in his glass and see how it like that. Girl, I'm gonna need you to learn your lines. You don't think over
the years she put no Suge Avery P up in there? That man was
they never discussed that again.
That don't mean it didn't happen.
Not even in the book.
That don't mean it didn't happen. What do you guys think about Sophia?
Sophia. Show is a pretty name.
She was a pretty name. She was a strong woman. She was definitely determined not to be Miss Seeley, I think that Harpo, he was too, how you say a man is handpicked with a woman. His father had too much influence over his life, especially when he had a wife and kids. But she was determined, not to be like Miss Seeley. She was more strong, but I think she kind of picked the wrong mate. His strength didn't match hers.
They loved each other, but he, like you said, his father, and usually it ain't the father who had that kind of influence, usually somebody mammy. But anyway, his father always thought that Harpo was weak and that, Sophia was controlling him. So he, But then it was Miss Seeley who
It
nailed it in
sounds
the cross.
generational, right? So Mr.'s father treated him a certain kind of way. Mr. treated Harper a certain kind of way. So all of that generational curse stuff is what it is.
Generational trauma.
If parents can only give you what they got, you can only give what you have as a parent. But
I disagree.
You think you
I
can?
disagree. Because
Okay,
this is where I disagree on that. Yes, your parents, quote unquote, can only give you what they got. But at some point, you have to stop blaming how you were raised on how you behave. I have an issue with people who use the way they was raised as how they are now. At some point, I'm gonna need you to get some damn therapy. I'm gonna need you to take a hard look at yourself and make the necessary changes.
I think that's different than what I was saying. I mean, I agree. Most parents should, or most parents do want their kids to have more than them. Just saying, from a parental standpoint, you do the best that you can with what you know for your kids. Just like I have adult kids, we can give advice and say, what we feel or think, because that's what we know or what we've experienced. So we're giving them all that we have. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that was the best advice for them, but that was the best advice that we could give or whatever. So that was what I was trying to say. Not that I'm making an excuse for, my mama didn't or my daddy didn't, and that's why I'm this way. I don't, I believe a person can be whomever they want to be if they put forth the effort to be that person. So yeah.
Agree with that to some extent too. And I used to work with youth, delinquent youth at some point in my career, and one of the things that I saw, because we would have like counseling set up for the parents and also for the child to try to address like what was the root of the issue, why are you acting this way, what is going on in your life. But one thing I have learned based on that situation is that you can only give what you know. If you've never been exposed to a life where you had a father in the house and you had a mother who cared about you and you've done all those things, you can want that. But if you've never been exposed, you don't necessarily know how to do that. So I just say, I don't know. I don't think that that's an excuse, but I also think that at some point in your life, you have to be exposed to that type of behavior, whether it's through therapy, whether it's through meeting someone, whether it's through taking yourself out of one situation and putting yourself in people who can help you in that situation. But if you're never exposed to it, you can only give out what you know.
I guess for me, I'm saying and I understand what you're saying, Joanna. If you're only exposed to certain things, that's the only thing you can return back. But at what point do you want more? I just feel that at some point you can't use it. You have to want more, not only for yourself, but for that next generation that you've given life to. So for instance, my mother's thing always was, when I was growing up, was I don't want you to have to clean toilets. Like I had to clean toilets in order to take care of you. That was her biggest thing. I don't want you to have to do what I had to do. And the only way you're not going to be able to do what I had to do is you're going to have to make some different choices than the choices that I made. We talk about her. I had a great freaking childhood. I was poor, but I still had a great childhood. My mom used to go outside. She used to tie the rope to the rail and turn jump rope with me. She learned how to ride a skateboard because I thought I was going to be a skateboard chick. All kind of stuff. I had a great childhood. But at the same time, there were a lot of things that she couldn't teach me because she didn't know, such as financial literacy, how to save money. Even to this day, my mother, if I put $5 in her hand, it's gonna burn a hole in it so she can spend it. She can't hold on to it. So those are things I had to teach myself and prepare to be able to teach my children. And trust me when I tell you, it was a hard lesson for me to learn. It took, basically having probably like a 399 credit score. I don't even know if it can go that low, but so it took a lot. But it was something that I wanted to be able to teach my children different than what I had. So in the case of Harpo, he didn't have his mother got killed, because she was cheating on Mister because he wasn't no good, because he was probably cheating on her with Suge Avery anyway. But his mama got killed, so he didn't really have this loving, affectionate mother. By the time Celie came to live with them, she was his age. I mean, she may be a couple of years older than him, and this is now this your new mammy. She ain't my mammy. He tried to knock her head off with a brick. So he really just never had that. So his father was the main influence in his life. But you have to understand, when it came to Harpo and Sophia, they fought and fought and fought. And it wasn't until Celie said something to Harpo that the dynamic of their relationship changed. Because here comes Sophia and she told Celie, you told Harpo to beat me. And you know,
his son-in-law, Miss Celie, keep advising him like you do.
She said, and she said, this side be over soon. Heaven lasts always. Girl, you ought to bash Mr.'s head open and think about heaven later. Because see, Sophia wanted to be getting on me.
Listen, let's move on from The Color Purple. We be talking about this all day long.
Right,
Listen,
exactly.
okay, yeah, because you know, so we will all agree that The Color Purple is ultimately the best movie ever created in the world. And
Classic
yeah.
movie.
Okay,
That's
your
the
next
classic.
one.
Exactly.
My next one is Friday. Woo-hoo. You got now. The hell out.
Go dog. This
The
focus
focus
is
is
ours
ours
too.
too.
I must admit, I've probably only seen Friday maybe like once or twice. So
How
I can't
are
quote.
we even related?
But I cannot quote anything, and I never even seen like the Friday the next day. I've never seen that. I've seen the
Okay, so
prequel
I've
before,
never seen
so
any of the other ones. I've only
I've
ever
never
seen the
seen any
original
of the
one.
other ones.
I just never seen the point.
Girl, next Friday, Friday after next. I mean, anywho.
And the only reason I know some of the lines from the other ones is because people was wearing them out like Pimp It Distress, Pimp Down, something like that, because it was Cat Williams. But I just didn't want to see the other ones because they didn't have Chris Tucker in there.
Yeah, that was good. Listen, Friday is a classic. Miss Parker bent over.
Hey, Miss Parker.
With their water hose, shaking their booty from side to side.
Them Daisy Duke sound.
Listen, how
Miss
come
Parker knew
every
what she
time
was doing.
you in the kitchen and the goddamn refrigerator eating up all the chitlins, all the collard greens, and all the hog maws? I want to eat some of that too. Listen, that was my movie or whatever. I think it had it was classic. Was it in what city? I know it was in California. Was it Crenshaw or wherever?
Compton.
Compton. You were in the hood. You had a crackhead. You had a working class mom and dad. I mean, you had a good for nothing son who ain't had no job. Well, he got fired on his day off.
He got fired on his.
You got to be a stupid so and so to get fired on your day off. How you at home on a porch chilling and you get a call talking about you fired? You must have been doing something you had no business doing on the days that you was working. But yeah, I think those two movies for me are like I mean, I can watch them over and over again and never get bored and still, re-quoting the lines word for word or whatever.
I was asleep watching The Color Purple last night.
Damn. What's your favorite? What's your other favorite movie?
So, of course, my first favorite is The Color Purple. The second one is Coming to America for me. I love Coming to America.
They're making a new one.
I know I'm so excited about it, but it better be good now because you can't mess with the classic.
Just let your soul glow, baby. Feeling oh so silky smooth. Just let it shine through, yeah. So
queen.
That's your chocolate,
girl.
That's your
I love Coming to America.
I forgot about Coming to America. That is good. That is good.
Okay, so me and my mother love that movie too. So one of the things that we always do when somebody's saying something stupid to us, or we do this. Damn shame what they did to that dog.
They must have killed a stank out of that dog. How they killed that dog? It was a shame. How many ways can you kill a dog besides shoot or stab him? You know what I'm saying? That was just.
Those two are my classes. I can watch them anytime they come on.
And laugh hysterically. And
yeah, Coming to America,
you can watch it and laugh as if you've never seen it before. Right. It's still funny.
Time it comes on to the time it's over. Coming to America has me rolling.
Yeah. Do y'all remember? The episode we did with Granny. I was like, her mama named her Louisa. We're gonna call her Louisa. She gonna be known as Cassius Clay.
His mama named her Cassius. I'm gonna call her Cash.
Remember when he was touching something? There's some juices and berries.
This is juices and berries. He said, that ain't nothing but an ultra pearl.
Girl, I love Coming to America.
They didn't know but a carefree curl. That's funny.
Oh my goodness.
Who's making? What's his name? What's the guy name that's making the second part of Color Purple? He got.
You mean Coming to America?
I mean, yeah, Jesus Christ. Yes, Coming to America. What's his name? He got that. I'll tell y'all in a minute. He got that show out called it's about his life. He's done so many movies. Oh, he does the grownish, blackish.
Oh, Kenya Barris.
Kenya Barris. He's the one who's doing it, but he got his own little Netflix thing. I couldn't get into
I seen it.
I couldn't get into it.
It wasn't funny.
Anywho, so I can't wait for that. Danya, what's your other?
Okay, so I'm gonna do an honorable mention before I do my other one besides Color Purple. Because Juwan just made me think of it. So my favorite, of course, is Color Purple, but honorable mention goes out to Harlem Nights.
He shot me
in my pinky toe. He shot me in my pinky toe. I'ma kill him, sugar. I'ma kill him. I love Harlem Nights. Okay.
Look, I can't even watch Harlem Nights no more because it has so much cussing in it that I can't even.
Oh my God.
I don't know how I watched it back then, but now I can't even watch it anymore.
Do y'all remember that one part? Okay, so Quick had left from Tommy Little House or whatever, and his brother thought he had killed him, so they was chasing him, and they was shooting at him, and then there was a one man next to him, and he was shooting his gun, and he just go pop, pop, and then they kept shooting the machine guns, and then he go pop, and then they shoot him. He said, "Why you shooting that little shit? Stop shooting that."
Yeah, that movie, it's a lot of cussing. It was funny back then.
It's a lot of cussing. It is not something that a child should ever watch, but it's the most hilarious thing ever. And we watched it as children. We watched it as children. But it's funny. Okay. So my second favorite movie. This one was hard to pick. It was hard. But I'm gonna go with Love Jones.
Mm-hmm. I did not like Love Jones. Maybe I'm the only black person that did not like Love Jones. Well, it is what it is. That whole thing just did not make any sense to me. I just couldn't get into it.
How did it not make sense? So, okay, I had a hard time choosing between Love Jones and Loving Basketball because I love me some Loving Basketball too. So now Lathan is my boo thing. But I love both of those movies. But okay, but then you know what? I'll put it out here like this. Just like you one of the few people who didn't like Love Jones, I'm probably one of the few black people who don't like The Best Man. I can't stand it. It's so boring to me.
I like it.
I watch it on mute to look at Morris Chestnut.
Oh yeah.
But okay, so the Love Jones. Let me tell you why I like Love Jones. And I think I like Love Jones because of the creative aspect of two creatives trying to find love with each other. But see, here's the thing. It should have just really been a really hot one night stand. And they should have been cuddy buddies, but they tried to make something, and they never really talked about the dynamics of these. Like, she had this relationship that she had just left, and they never talked about that, and then they just ended up being in this thing, and then she needed to explore that relationship again. They never talked about it. While she was gone, he got up with light-skinned girl. They ain't talking about that either, and then they got back together, and it was just all this. It was a little underlying. It was a lot of non-communication going on, but
to me, it was just unrealistic. I don't know nobody's relationship like that. I don't know nobody's relationship like that. There's just some things you ain't gonna put up with in a relationship.
Like, give me an example.
I'm just saying. Just like you said, the communication is not there. It just didn't seem like a realistic relationship to me. That's why I couldn't get into it.
I mean, I enjoyed the soundtrack. I enjoyed the poetry. I enjoyed the friendship dynamic between the group of friends. Their relationship may not have been the best, but some of those conversations were good. Because that's just like Savon said, when the Love Jones come down, it's a mother. I can relate.
Well,
mention it. I can relate. You know what else was a good movie? The Nutty Professor. Because he was having relations with him.
So I was about to say let's just do a quick round table of some more movies, but we're gonna skip you since you the name about 7 million. Nutty Professor, it was good. It was good.
Only the first one. I didn't like the second one.
The sequels is. I mean, you got to do a heck of a job to follow up with something like that.
That's true.
So 2 other movies that I think are super classics that I really like. We ain't gotta talk about them. I know you're gonna see this one. I know you're gonna say something, Danya. 5 Heartbeats and Belly.
Nights like this.
5 Heartbeats. I love the 5 Heartbeats.
Eddie Kane.
Let me say, Danya, you remind me of you are him in our group. They always waiting on you. You ain't responding to nothing. You ain't answering no phone calls. But you
just show up. I'm ready.
You just slide right over the face.
You ain't gonna get it because you ain't got it. My office hours are. My office hours are. 9 to 5. That's my movie.
You're right. I can watch the Heartbeats anytime it comes.
I like Belly.
I have never seen Belly, so I don't have an opinion.
Okay, so
dark skin Keisha.
Never seen Belly.
So for years, people told me that I remind them of that girl Keisha, right? I had never seen Belly, and I think it was because I was dark skinned in the way I used to wear my hair or whatever. And so I finally watched it, and I was like, we don't look nothing alike. But I do like that scene when she was all extra oily. I was like, go ahead, girl, with your little oily self, and put some Vaseline or some and some baby oil on and see if I can get.
You so stupid. Oh, Joanna, any other classics for you?
I mean, Donnie mentioned one, which was Love and Basketball. I do love that one, and I can watch that one anytime. I don't have any more that I just. Those are pretty much it for me.
I got one. Me and LaWanda used to watch this all the time. What's Love Got to Do with It? I can see the turn and stuff. No, house. Schoolhouse, house. On highway number 19. The people keep the city clean. They call it Nutbush.
Oh, say it over. Oh, Nutbush. Put some stank on it, Tina. Put some stank.
Nutbush city limit. Okay, so that was we watched that movie a lot, and it was crazy.
I tried to do the dance, rolling.
And you know she ain't got no rhythm, so it used to be funny. But I watched that movie at least 50 times, probably. I've read the book. Let me tell you, I was a narcissist and a master manipulator. He told that poor little girl, because she was just a teenager when he got with him, that everybody I love leave me. And everybody I care, and I'll never leave you, Ike. And so I beat her for breakfast, lunch. Eat the cake, anime. Eat the cake.
You laughing, but it's not a funny situation because people go through this kind of stuff every day.
It was like
people
who watch that movie who have been victims of domestic violence is the most triggering experience ever. But I guess like for me, and again, it was a movie literally about a man. To me, okay, so Color Purple, yeah, Mr. was beating the crap out of Celie. But we didn't see it the way we saw it in What's Love Got to Do with It. But the best part of that whole movie to me, the best part of that whole movie to me was when at the end she was like, I ain't putting up with this no more. She had numb your whole ring and killed herself to freedom, okay?
Numb your ring
on him in that ambulance, in that limousine, and she beat the crap out of him with that boot.
She said, "Numb your ring, take you."
Yeah,
I think that's why I can't watch that movie like that, because I have had an experience with that in the past, and it does trigger. And then I see myself in that person, because in the beginning you're not like that. It's over time where you keep getting beat down and beat down and beat down that you actually start to think that you're worth nothing and you can't leave and all of these things.
That's not one that
Right. That's why I don't think I've ever watched that one more than maybe once or twice.
And that was my thing. So like with that one, like I said, he was a master manipulator because he told her that in the very beginning, anybody I love that believe me. And so that was her thing. I don't want to be like everybody else. This here.
But listen, that wasn't her only reason. He is all that she knew. That's number one. He took her from her mother's house, who was a
because her mother left her when she was a kid.
So she lived with grandma, but her mother was a controlling, only thinking about money type person to get into this man's house. And so she had to, she found something. She loved to sing. So she was doing something that she loved. So her love that she had for singing and the love she thought, or the love that she had for him and she thought he had for her, kind of kept her there. It's that mental aspect of it that.
And then the bigger they got, he got jealous of her because he
made her. He created her, but you got jealous of your creation. How is the creator jealous of the creation? That's weird.
But I will say that is still one of my favorite movies. Let me think. I gotta get one more.
You done got like 8. Look.
we moving on to TV shows.
Fine then.
I said fine with me.
I'm gonna put out 4. I'm pretty sure at least for sure, 2 of these is going. Well, it should be on your list if it ain't.
I could have swore we said 2, but she got 4. But okay, come on.
I can't. Good Times, The Jeffersons, Different Strokes, and The Cosby Show. Love all them. I can watch them.
Ain't none of them on my list.
I could watch. Well, too bad for you. I could watch them 1,000 times a day. I love all of them. I think they all. Good Times show how I was growing up poor in the ghetto. The Cosby Show showing that Black folks ain't always got to be poor. They can be doctors and lawyers. Different Strokes showed about a rich man taking in some poor little Black boys. The Jeffersons, they was poor Black people. They moved on up.
Moving on up.
I love it. I mean, it's just a vast array of everything that you have seen, and they super funny or whatever. Joanna, ain't none of them on your list?
One of them is, and that was The Cosby Show. The Cosby Show for me was like, I mean, that's the first time I think I had ever seen Black folks on TV. A family. Look, I'm serious. A family.
They weren't a maid.
They weren't a maid. They actually were like, the mother was an attorney, and
a lawyer.
The father was a doctor, and I had never seen that on TV. So I was like, oh. And then they seem to have a message each program.
Absolutely.
So I love that show. I don't think there's any Cosby Show that I have not seen. I mean, I absolutely love the Cosby Show. Some other ones that I had on my list was Martin. I love Martin. It was stupid now. It was a stupid show, but it still had me cracking up. I love
Martin, where's the umbilical cord?
It was so to me, it was so stupid. That's why it was funny, because it's like, hey, this is so not reality ever.
Back then it was good, but looking at when my husband watches the reruns now, I'm like, could you turn to something? I mean, it's just ridiculously stupid, like real dumb. And Gina with her big old water head, Martin, you see it? It's like, go somewhere, Gina Waters. I love
Elroy Preston is still the best episode ever.
Don't you know no good?
Don't you know no good?
Don't you know no good?
Don't you G-O-O-O-D?
Don't you know no good?
G-O-O-D. Do the people want the song? Do the people want the song? The people got the song. Don't you know no good?
Hi. God, are you stupid? And another one that I thought was hilarious was In Living Color. I used to love In Living Color.
Oh my God, yes.
That was my show.
I get that. Let me tell you something.
I love it. If I wanted to laugh, those were like my go-to ones.
Oh my gosh. Okay, those are very good selections. Okay, so my shows is gonna be totally different. Anybody who knows me knows, I'm kind of obsessed with death, serial killers, anything like that. So one of my favorite shows is Criminal Minds. And
Criminal Minds. Love that.
When CSI first came out, the original one, not all the other ones, but the original. So CSI and Criminal Minds, and let me tell you, this would be me. I literally, okay, so it was so like I was so obsessed with it, but I would get information from it. So for instance, I'm glad Criminal Minds stopped showing episodes that involved children being hurt or abducted because it was hard, especially once I became a parent. But there was this one thing they talk about, you know, when your kid gets abducted or something, you're hysterical. So you're not going to remember what your kid had on that day. You're not going to remember. So I'm like, when my daughter first started kindergarten, I used to take her picture every day before she left for school, just in case. So not only that, but, and even still to this day, I have in my freezer for all of my children a Band-Aid with it has their blood on it, so DNA, and it is frozen in the freezer just in case anything ever happens. I know Criminal Minds had me gone, y'all. It had me gone, still in the freezer though. Okay.
Do you know? I wish that what was the quirky girl name that was in love with Shamar Moore?
Penelope Cruz.
Penelope Cruz. You know what? Secretly, I really wanted them to be together. She loved her.
They were best friends.
Called him her chocolate something.
Her chocolate thunder, and he called her baby girl. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really.
And she used to have the cutest glasses. That's why I love Penelope Cruz.
She was super cute. I really liked her.
Like that one, but I like the CSI Miami and the CSI Las Vegas.
And I liked Miami. Las Vegas was okay. I like New York though. I like CSI New York. But CSI Las Vegas is the original one. I'm sorry. So that's the original because that was the one that had Gil Grissom. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that man was something delicious. Anyway, so CSI, okay, they're Criminal Minds. But my classic favorite TV show is Living Single because you know. In the 90s kind of world, I'm glad I got my girls. Keep your head up, keep your head up, that's right. Whatever this life is short, you got to fight with my homegirls. Send it to my left family, right? True blue. It's tight like glue. Okay, so
check it out. Check it out.
I love that show because it was like, yo, look at us. We doing it. And I was in high school when it came out or whatever. But my thing was like, you'll see these strong, they navigating love, they navigating relationships, they navigating dealing with their parents, work, and successful careers, except for, you know, Sinclair, woo woo woo, woo woo woo. But you know, I love that show. And it was like, I wanna be like that when I grow up. Y'all know who my girl was. Now, who was my girl?
Max. I like her.
Maxie.
I like Max and Cal.
Girl, Cal told Max one time that he said, "You're such a waste of skin."
Baby, but they had some hot, lovely sexual.
Oh my gosh, the chemistry was explosive. I love that show. So that was one of my favorites. But honest to goodness, most of my favorite shows are not comedies. They are shows that have to do with forensic or something criminal related, because I'll just be like glued to the TV like, oh my goodness. Now, my new franchise of shows, because see, here's the thing. I try not to get involved in too many shows because as soon as you start liking it, oh, I can't wait to cancel. Just cancel.
Yeah, they go.
But the Chicago PD, Chicago Med, Chicago Fire, that little group of shows, that's my stuff right now. I love them.
Mm-hmm. So we named some of our favorite classic movies and TV shows. You kind of segued at a good point because I was going to ask you guys, with so much stuff being on TV these days, there's some new stuff that I like. You know, my memory is shot. I can never think of anything. But I love, what's it called? 911, that with Angela Bassett in it.
I've never watched the episode.
It's really, 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 really good. You should check that out. Really, 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 really good. There's a lot of shows that are out. I mean, you know, it's, you know, you just figure out if you like them or not. You know, it is either, to me, I think they're hit or misses. It's no in between. Either you love it or you hate it. And some of those shows for me are, Tyler Perry has a show called Sisters. There's a show out called The Oval and Greenleaf. I like though. I'm currently watching those shows when they are actually in season or whatever. But like I say, there's a whole bunch of foolishness that's on that I just can't get with or whatever. But
now I remember, Joanna, remember when it first came out and you was like, I can't believe you watching it. Remember, it was a reality show. You told me you couldn't believe I was watching it. Preachers of LA.
Oh, yeah.
Girl, I think I seen that like once. I was like,
hot mess.
I was obsessed. I was like, no, these saints ain't on TV telling all they business. Oh my goodness. But Joanna used to be obsessed with 90 Day Fiance.
I did. I ain't gonna lie.
Was it 90 Day Fiance or Love at First Sight? Which one was it?
No, it was 90 Day
They both dumb.
They are both dumb. I think that's why I was like glued to the TV. I was like, this can't be real. Like,
she would be like, I gotta call you back. My show finna come on. I was like, you finna watch that?
I'll put it this way. There are several shows that I watch just because I'm curious. Like, for example, Power was one of those. I kept hearing about it and people was like, you need to watch it, whatever. And I'm thinking, no, I don't think I need to watch that now. So I did watch it. But there's just certain things, like I will watch certain things just because people keep talking about it and I want to see what it is and see if I'm interested in it. So I may watch a couple sessions on it. But the thing about me is that I don't like a lot of cussing. I don't like a lot of sex. I don't like a lot of stuff in there. And that kind of just, after a while, it's like, I really, that's why I don't have any current TV shows anymore, because I can't watch it. Look, it's like literally... It's like literally I cannot watch it because it's too. I mean, I'll give you an example. When Scandal first came out, girl, I was like glued to the television. And then probably the first season, and then after that, I remember I was in prayer and the Lord was like, this show you watching has every single sin in the Bible in it. And I'm thinking, you are so right, guys. So it's like I couldn't even, after that, it's like I couldn't even watch it anymore because I was like, I'm sitting here partaking and seeing this as entertainment, and it's like I just felt vexed in my spirit with it. So I don't watch. I'll be honest, like I don't have a favorite TV show that I look at now, something that I watch every day. I don't know. I just don't. I can't watch stuff like that.
So for me, I binge watch a lot of stuff because I don't watch TV during the week. I usually watch my TV Friday and Saturday. After everybody go to sleep. But for me, like, so I'll use Scandal as an example. There are shows that I'll start watching them and I'll be so in love with the show. But then after the third episode, when everybody has literally slept with everybody, I'm no longer interested. I'm like, what? I mean, and y'all know me, I'm a fan of sex. But everybody, community sex. It was just community sex. So I was just like,
we're gonna pray for you about that.
I know. We're gonna get you. Y'all pray for me. That's why I'm so glad my cousin still love me, because she don't like no shows and a whole bunch of cussing and a whole bunch of sex, and But anyway, so I get turned off by shows like that too. Like, so I watched the first season of Power and I was so excited about the second season, and then like I watched like 2 episodes and then I was just like, okay. So like, I would read the recaps of the show on somebody's website or something. I just stopped watching the shows. The same thing for it's Queen Sugar. I loved me some Queen Sugar. I was like, oh, I love these strong Black characters. I want to watch it. And then I had an issue with the siblings, because I would cut off a toenail for a sibling, okay? But y'all was literally going at it constantly, and I just had an issue with that, so I stopped watching it. I would read the recaps or whatever. But honest to goodness, my current shows are the Chicago PD franchise, Chicago Fire PD Med, and then because Criminal Minds just ended after 15 seasons, so that's gone. But I do watch SWAT with Shamar Moore, because it's Shamar Moore. I don't know what they be doing, talking about nothing. It's Shamar Moore.
He is pretty.
He is pretty.
He is pretty.
Not handsome, but pretty.
Pretty one. Okay.
Yes, Lord.
And then what else do I watch? I watch NCIS New Orleans because I just love Scott Bakula. Y'all remember Scott Bakula? He used to. I think it's Scott Bakula. He used to be. Y'all remember that show Quantum Leap? Dracula? No, y'all remember that show way back in the day? It was called Quantum Leap. It was this man. It's him. He played on that show.
Mhm.
Y'all know my mama a TV junkie, okay? So I know shows that should nobody know.
Well, I will say that I think that although, you know, we may have favorite TV shows or movies, I think that like when a movie is a classic and it's like you probably cannot do better than this. You should not be making no sequels. Definitely no 2, 3, 4, and 5. When a TV show, when you have come to the point to where you're looking at a season, it's like, what? Just make this your last season. One show, well, okay, 2 shows I'm gonna tell you about real quick. Orange is the New Black. I never really heard about that until, I mean, it was just going on and on and on. So it's on Netflix. I had binge watched it from season 1 and kind of went through over the last year or 2. They finally ended, and it, you know, it was time. It was good, but it was time. I mean, because the storylines is like, where else do you go? And then there was one show that was on their own network. It was only 1 season. It was called Love Is. And that was with Mara Brock Akil and her husband.
I love that show. I was so devastated when it ended.
It was so good. But, you know, the little scandals and stuff that comes out about people. Like Oprah Winfrey said, I'm not being associated myself with no foolery. Canceled. So I do think there's expiration on everything. All good things must come to an end or whatever. But there are so many good movies and good TV shows out there. I mean, there's some new, but like I say, once a classic is a classic, I don't think you can really redo that too much. But well, if none of you have anything else to say about your favorite flicks, we are gonna end this show. We're gonna say peace and hair grease.